Hi, gang. I'm going to give it a second. I think we should play a little music. Let's get something going. Hi, guys. Come on in. What's good, McFly? What's going on? Hi, guys. I'm so glad to be back. We're gonna have a conversation. I'm okay. We'll start with that, and then we'll get into all the other stuff. I love you too. So let me just say, what's good, Tamila? What's good, Shaquana? What's good, Mel? Lower this a little. Let me give you guys an update before we even get started. Listen, you do what you gotta do, Patah. This will be up, right? What's good, Miss Lotus Wisdom and Tawanza and everybody coming in, right? I want to give you guys an update first, because, for those of you that know, I've been away, okay? My father is transitioning, and in true Puerto Rican fashion, it's a bumpy and a rough ride. He's having kidney and liver failure. And, he has other conditions as well. And, he's trying to put up a fight. I had to come back because I have to take care of my mother. But I've said what I had to say, and hopefully, I'll get to see him again before, the inevitable takes place. So I want to thank everyone who reached out to me. I'm pushing along. Okay. Now, today's my 54th birthday, gang. Yes. So I feel very blessed. There's a lot of people who don't make it to that age. And I once heard absolutely. I heard a proverb about, thank you so much. I heard a proverb about what it means to have a successful life. And I feel like that success, thank you, babes. He said he's singing the Stevie Wonder happy birthday. A marker of success is to have grandchildren. It means that you have lived. And I have 3. Okay? And I hope to be here enough to see their children. That would be truly exceptional. So today, listen, before, we're going to see how much time we have left towards the end. I might, take some questions, but Spirit been on me because obviously I couldn't stop what I was doing with my dad, but we got to talk about all the things that are happening. Thank you guys for all the love. And I just want to say, for those of you that don't know, in my private group, right, we have this board that one of my clients, A-Name, gave me so I could write down the places at the beginning of the year that I felt might have some things happening. The first one on the list is a little smudge, but you see it says India. Okay. And I had a vision of a little girl that there was something to do with her. Okay. So watch out for, in this conflict, a story surrounding a little girl in India. Okay. But I feel like this has to do with that. Okay, and a lot of the places on this list has already had some kind of situation happen. Okay, we have India, the Philippines, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Oklahoma, Dakotas. I didn't specify which one. Hey, Project Execute, thank you, my love. Boston, we had that already occur, right? We have Maine, we have France, Texas, San Antonio, and Dallas, right? Philly, okay. And we had something happen there with the planes, right? Miami, we had Crohn's, right? The Crohn facility. So a lot of the things that we put on here at the beginning of the year, something has already happened. We had Canada and France, right? So I just wanted to, hey, my loves, I just wanted to tell you that a lot of the places that are on this list, we have Venezuela on that list, South Korea, right? It's weird because some of these places have already come up in the news for the year. So we're gonna take a look. We're gonna start with the general energy for the collective, and then we're gonna go from there, okay? And Spirit will let me know if they want to do like a breaking news, if they want to do, okay? So let's just get the general energy first. Let me get some glasses going, right? And then we'll go from there. Because a lot has happened. And we're gonna get started. This is the wrong one. No, maybe it's not the wrong one. This is not what I meant to pull, but let's take a look. Spirit, can you show me, please, what it is that the collective should know right now? If we could equal out the likes on YouTube, that would be great, guys. Hey, my loves. Hey, gang. Thank you guys for spending my. Let me tell you something. I've been away. I had a very stressful weekend. What's good, Brianna? And it's gonna sound crazy. I couldn't get back. I couldn't wait to get back to y'all. Okay, it's like my normal and my warm place. Okay, so thank you, Ellie. She says 54, girl. You don't look over a day over 30. I wish I looked 30, but you know, I do a lot of trying to take care of myself and vitamins and facial, you know, doing facials and things. Okay. Let's celebrate our Empress by going to her website to purchase her beautiful, exclusively created products. Oh, thank you. Or her ebook. Yes, please. Oh, I missed you guys too. I have a lot of great products over there. Soaps, especially spiritual soaps. Okay. You can never go wrong. All right. Spirit, can you show me? Chariot of Ascension. So it says spiritual work of the higher initiate. If you're over here, okay, we're the lighthouses. This means that we have an important role, not only in our own ascension, but in other people's ascension. This could come in the form of triggers. And all of the people that are watching right now, just stick with me, right? A lot of what you have experienced, the traumas, are for this moment in time. Okay? You may be struggling with what is happening around you, yet more prepared than others. And that could be something that you are struggling with too, because you may not have the ears, people's ears that are in the position to hear where you are. Because if you are the leader in your group or whatever, who do you talk to? Right? Who do I run to when I need love? Right? But this is more giving when you need an ear. Okay? If you are not part of our Patreon family, yes. Okay, if you want regular, and we're going to do it this Saturday, if you want regular private question, one a month with me, which is very intricate, you need to be at least a Lovelee Soul Tribe level. Okay? Lovelee Soul Circle is, I think, where we do the breaking news every week. Go over to Patreon, you'll see. All right, so let's read the Chariot of Ascension. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Number 33. Somebody's jaw is very tight. Unclench your jaw. Breathe. Chariot of Ascension, Merkaba. Your soul wishes to travel more freely between the dimensions of higher reality. This is to allow for conscious spirit communication, the free flow of soul light into the physical body, and the joining in divine harmony of heaven and earth. It requires a powerful consciousness to do this. The Merkaba, Chariot of Ascension, and Soul Fire is the spiritual gift to attain these divine purposes now, available to you as a high initiate. You may not realize, thank you for the follow, my love, how important you are to the mission of those around you. I'm going to say that again. You may not realize how important you are to the mission of those people around you. What's good, Croissant? Okay, what's good, Tracy Fouts, right? There is a weight, a seriousness upon us right now. And yet we're kind of told to like keep it light. So that is the struggle, right? That is the struggle, because I feel like we're the message bringers for our groups. And a lot of time people only want to hear the positive shit. And what happens when your message is heavy and still needs to be heard and digested? And how will people react to that? And can you stand the rain? Right? And those people who don't want to accept the duality in you, as above and so below, that it can't always be sunshine and rain, right? It can't be only one version of you. What's good, muñeca? Okay, and I want you to recognize that people's reaction to your truth, or even their reaction to want to not see what's happening, it has to do with like their own protections and their own traumas. Okay, so I know it's difficult right now. We're going to get one more and then we're going to get into the tarot. Earth warriors, because that's what we are out here. Okay, and a lot of the people that follow me, we have people here with all signs, but there's a lot of people with Taurus influence. A lot of people, I should say a lot of people with fixed sign influence over here. Spirit, can you show me what it is that the collective needs to know right now? May 10th, happy early birthday, my love. I am a Taurus. Today is my birthday, and I think that's why so many of you resonate with me. Spirit, can you show me, please? What is it that the collective needs to know? Alakoa, spirit of the warrior. Okay, Alakoa, spirit of the warrior. And it says that is number 34. So we just had number 33. Now we have number 34. There is some type of ascension. What's good, official Venus? Hi, honey. All right, let's read this one. And it says, though you yearn for peace, you recognize that without truth, genuine peace can never be. Even if it triggers an upheaval of transformation, the need to set things right is strong in you. This is the inner drive of the spiritual warrior, the compelling soul need to uphold truth, goodness, and justice. You will fight for those things because that is your way, spiritual warrior. Trust, see, and feel the positive impact that you are making in the world. You are relentless, and the divine is within you. And didn't I just say, oh, thank you, my love. Didn't I just say that we were triggering people with our truth? What's good, Jennifer LaRoe? What's good, Angel? Didn't I say that we're triggering people with our presence? Because to be a lighthouse is to be a light bearer. And that means you're shining light in the corners and the recesses of where people don't want to look. And there is a saying of shooting the messenger that comes with, there's a reason why people say that, because oftentimes people would rather bury their heads in the sand, and that's not the mission that we chose over here. And sometimes heavy is the person who wears the crown. And if you have found me, it's because our purpose is to hold that truth into the light and not to flinch. Thank you, my love. Okay? Not to flinch, not to lean back into the shadow, but to push forward and to stand in that truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Okay? We're going to read the prayer for this card, and then we're going to get into the tarot. The enemy shall never grip me. I shall not be overcome. I am led and protected by the great and true spiritual warriors who lead love's army. My steps in the world are fierce with compassion and love in action. I waver not, for I am a conqueror over darkness. Spirit born and empowered by the sacred, I embody the truth for which I fight. I am defended, uplifted, and renewed. My hands are ever open to the replenishing power of grace. The divine delivers all necessary might. Divine love's prophecy is read, spoken, and enacted in all realms. If love has not yet won, the battle is not over yet. And so I rise with love, courage, and wisdom. Ashe. And I feel like this is so fitting to what I said to you guys before I started to shuffle for this card, that we are triggering people by standing in our truth, right? And this is confirming that message that we're meant to fight. My name itself means promised to God. My real name is Lisette. And I know that this is what I have to do, even if there are some people who are triggered by the truth that I bring. And I want you to know that the reason why you're with me is because you have that same frequency. Okay? Everybody talks about the law of attraction. And I stress to my followers the law of resonance. Okay? Because you are what you attract. And so, therefore, to live in your authenticity is to cause change in the world irrefutably. Nobody could take that from you. All you got to do is walk in your truth. And inevitably, if you stay in that frequency long enough, the world will respond with that truth. And it will be in resonance with that. The age of truth is among us. The age of Ma'at, the age of Aquarius. Absolutely. Right? So now we're not responding to the world. The world has no choice but to respond to us. And I'm not going to tell you that the things that are happening right now don't give me great anxiety. They do. But they have made me come out of the shadows. They have made me speak my truth. And it has cost me relationships. It has cost me so many things. Thank you, Joe Savage, baby. What's going on? Right? This is shit that we have to lean into. And it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. Okay? It's hard to stand in the stillness and not have to try to convince people, but just be the example of that truth. That shit is harder than standing on a corner with a microphone. Be the example. You might be the only vision of truth or the divine, or some people will say God, or some people will say, the goddess, the creatress. You might be the only version of that they see today. Okay? You might be the only version they see of that today. All right, so we're going to get into some tarot. And we're going to take a look at what's going on and what might be coming up for the collective. And then if I have time, I'm going to take some personal questions, okay? Because that's what I like to do on my birthday. I like to give to y'all. How about that? Okay? So, let's take a look. Using the Hoodoo deck, I want to see what the divine is saying for us collectively. So much change is upon us right now, and we are experiencing, that's good, Eve, experiencing a lot of healing that is being forced, okay? But the healing is coming through. Thank you, my love. Thank you for the birthday wishes. The healing is being forced. So what's happening? Your traumas, whatever they are, in whatever relationship, whether you're with your parents, your partner, your inner child, whatever it is, that shit is being triggered on purpose, right? You're being tested to see if you will respond in the ways of old, right? Or can you stand the rain? Can you overcome the old patterns that have kept you stuck in the same vibration, right? And so that's what we're doing. We're breaking away. But the breaking away is a tower. It's like being vulnerable, right? It's having to sit in the stillness of errors that you might have made, or transgressions that people have done to you. They could be coming up through other means to force you to release. Okay, not all healing is done like all pretty and sunshine, right? It's not always like that, babe. It ain't always like that. Sometimes it comes on the back of pain. Sometimes it comes on the back of loss. Sometimes it comes on, honestly, I was born with certain gifts, but until my husband died, I didn't understand the fullness of agape love, to love for humanity's sake. And it's like now I can't unlearn it. I can't unsee it. All right, let's go. Spirit, can you show me? 9 of baskets. To be happy, truly happy, we're gonna have to look at some shit we gotta throw up. And these are the traumas that have had us dissociated from emotion. Yo, can I talk to Gen X for a second? And I'm sure that this is true for other generations too, right? But the level of trauma that we're carrying around on a continual basis and what we were forced to normalize, we're so desensitized, y'all. We are. We're so desensitized. We needed to disassociate to survive. Real talk. Okay? So now, right? You might have, got the house and the 2.5 kids and the dog and the white picket fence and may realize like, but there's so much still unhappiness. There's so much still oppression. There's so much still hurt, right? Because society was telling us that we could fill those spaces with things. And now we have to fill it with healing. We have to feel the vulnerability of all that pain to rebuild, to start over. Right? So whereas the generations before us, their revolution may have been on a picket line or a protest, and ours is facing our traumas and willing to accept that, like to be unwavering in uncovering the truth so that we could transform this shit for the generations to come. Like, it's our job to painfully scrape those experiences out of us and take from them the wisdom without burying the pain, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to talk about what Spirit is saying out here. I was talking to my daughter today, and she was, she comes from the millennials, and she was saying, that she recognizes that in her generation there was a lot of bullying, and that she feels bittersweet about it, which sounds crazy, right? But she's like, but although bullying is bad, I learned how to be strong. I learned how to stand up for myself. I learned, right, not to allow people to walk all over me, right? It's like, even in our grief, we have to recognize that that's what makes abuse so bad, right? Because no matter what road you walk down, there will always be something that you could take away from that to use in a positive aspect, right? So that's the you're turning 54 too. There you go, right? That's the dilemma. Can you look at the pain that you've experienced, the pain that you've caused, without being resentful, without holding guilt, without holding anger? I had a whole experience with that this weekend with my dad because, like I said to you guys, he's transitioning, right? So yo, it's in your face where you have to, if you try to run from the ghosts of yesterday. Thank you, my love. If you try to run from the ghost of yesterday, all that ends up happening is that you become that which you were running from. If you run from the ghost of yesterday, you will only become that which you were running from. So we're going to clarify these damn cards. We're going to see what Spirit wants us to know, right? Aww. Right? Joy and pain, it's like sunshine and rain. And they go together, right? And in some ways, we even glorify the trauma. Listen, and I grew up, we played hot peas and butter. We drank from fire hydrants. right? We stood outside until they came and got us, right? So I'm just saying, right? There's trauma and beauty, and we can see that, okay? So Nine of Baskets, we out here trying to, I'm living my best, man. Ain't going back and forth with you, right? So we trying to create that. We've been trying to create that happiness, okay? Those were the days, right? Okay? And yet, we was probably getting our ass whooped. There was a lot of shit happening that was wrong, okay? Okay, so you have the Fool here. So what's happening is that the age of Aquarius is forcing us to reevaluate what happiness looks like, what fulfillment would be, right? We can also say, sure, I've made some mistakes. I didn't do everything right. I'm gonna stop kicking myself about it though. And I'm gonna, put my best foot forward and create the life that would best heal me now. Fuck yesterday. The more time you spend, right? Once you recognize what the dilemma is, it's like when you relive, a negative memory, right? That sensation is not actually happening to you, but it can feel like it is, because by looking back at it, we're actually re-experiencing it, right? And then if we're always looking forward, we're looking at the anxiety that of what we think might happen, right? So the key is to be in the now. What can I create right now that would be a better, more authentic expression of who I am now and the love that I want to give now? And listen, everybody ain't going to be willing to meet you where you are. It's not their time yet. But it doesn't mean that we can't just hold the space for them. Right? All right, so we got the Seven of Baskets out here. Listen, this is a lot of people. Okay, Seven of Baskets in the upright is illusions and shit. This is people who they can feel that something is wrong, but they want to, bury their heads, or they don't want to admit that they're unhappy or that they've made a mistake, because if they do that, then it's like an unraveling of the reality, right? And so you see people losing relationships, family members, right? And disagreements and ideology, right? Seven of Baskets comes out crossed here with the Eight of fucking Swords. So the Eight of Swords is a prison of our own making. These are people, right, who can see that things are not going in their best way, and yet they're still holding on to trying to force it, right? So this would be like going to, okay, I got to use this one as an example because this is what Spirit just gave me. Let's say you're a Latino descent, or even if you just grew up in the hood with a bunch of Latinos, right? And your job is an ICE agent. And whereas before, you may have been tasked with, discernment as to how to carry that job out. And then now, right, it could literally be giving you knots in your stomach. You could be coming down with an autoimmune disease, right? Yet you get up every fucking day when the alarm goes off and drag yourself to a job that is killing your soul, right? Or punching a clock to make some other person's dreams come true instead of putting that amount of time to making your own come true, right? And how are us feeling that we have to participate in this system or else we won't survive it. And what we don't understand is back to the law of resonance. As long as you're actively holding space for that vibration, you are lending your frequency to it. You think I wasn't scared to get off the wheel and to start my own thing? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And now we're faced to do it not just in our work, but also in our private lives, in the way we love each other. To peel away those hard layers, and they'll always be with me, right? From this NYC girl. But if I could do it, you could do it. We got the Knight of Swords with the Knight of Wands. This Knight of Swords, this is the argumentative side of us. And this is the Knight of Wands, right? Okay, so now, and I'm going to explain to you, right? If this is how you defended yourself all my life, I had a fight. And how I do that is by fucking shit up. Look at that. Right? Listen. If it's up, then it's stuck, and we all, in the shits, I'm going to make sure that you understand my level, right? Of what I'm feeling in this situation. But how's that been working for you? Right? Anger meets anger. Right? One of the hardest things I had to learn was to not respond. Was my most powerful form of combat. To not defend myself, to walk in my truth, to be the version of myself, right? No matter what others might think. That shit ain't for the weak. It ain't about having the biggest, or the loudest voice in the room. Have the strongest energy, the strongest aura in the room, and see how shit moves for you. See how people will actually get the fuck out of your way. And you didn't have to say nothing. You didn't have to say nothing. Okay? But this is what we're learning right now, to use that power, right? In new ways, right? That will make us independent, that breaks us away from the matrix, that allows us to display who we've always been. And for many of us, we didn't even know that we were being suppressed or oppressed into a part. Okay? 9 of Coins. Spirit, why? Listen. And as you become that version of yourself, there goes that Knight of Swords again, others will want to stab you in the back or the fucking front. Okay? Because your authenticity will challenge their truth. Okay? 3 of Cups. You may even experience, public settings or, group events or weddings, something where you go somewhere and you see a lot of the people that you maybe grew up with or or whatever, family, right? And the new version of you is challenging something in them, strength. And that sometimes is a thing of itself, is to stand in that truth without explanation. Right? And you may, when I first started to do it, even till now, sometimes it's very painful. Sometimes it's heartbreaking to understand that some people only want the version of you that made them comfortable. Right? And that the version of you that you have gone through so much to cultivate actually triggers their reality. That's a hard pill, okay? Son of Baskets. So are we going to apologize for being the trigger? They're about to be very uncomfortable. That's what I'm saying, right? So are we supposed to apologize here, turn into our inner childhood selves, right? And make them comfortable? Or do we give our inner child a fucking hug and permission to be safe in their truth? And fuck what other people feel about their reality. They can get a therapist just like the rest of us, okay? We have to, like, this is how you can help. This is how you can make change for the generations that come after us, to give them permission that it's okay to feel the way you feel. You don't got to apologize for it. You want to be transgender, you want to be LGBTQ, you want to be, black and proud, you want to be a Democrat, you want to be a Republican. I might not agree, but whatever, right? Live your truth and remember that those were all labels, right? To be mother, father, brother, girlfriend, wife, husband. These are all fucking labels. I challenge each of you to describe yourself in 50 words or less without using any fucking labels. Who are you at the core? Who are you at the core? What does your energy say about you when you enter a room? Are you going to be everybody's cup of tea? No. Is that all right? Absolutely. Matter of fact, the quicker you find out your frequency, you're going to find your people too. You'll find your fucking people too. Okay? So, let's look at this Ace of Sticks at the bottom of the deck. This is talking about how passionately this fire is building in us, about not being able to unsee it, about walking in that truth, about having to fight that. It's fighting the good fight, but with love. Right? And I didn't say it was all going to be cookie crunch. Because sometimes love is hard. Sometimes love is truths. Right? So let's look at this Ace of Sticks. Spirit, why? What's good, Candelo? Look, lovers. We should be passionate about the choices that we make. The Lover's card is a card of choice. Every relationship that you have or don't have is built on a choice that you have made, whether vibrationally, consciously, or subconsciously. You're going to find that a lot of people right now are living in an untruth because it feels safer to them. Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. It's self-deception. We can all go back to being asleep. You can choose that right now. But eventually we're all going to be forced to wake up in some way. Okay? So it's like you have to choose if it's worth living in that truth, and if that will bring you happiness. Because for most people, trying to play along to get along has caused us to diminish our own vision of ourselves. And you have the Three of Coins here. This has to do with the relationships that we entertain with the Three of Coins again, so both ways, right? And then the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is all about self-love, self-worth. Every time you compromise your authenticity, you're also compromising your worth. I don't care if it's your kids. I don't care if it's your spouse. I don't care who it is. I just told my daughter this morning that oftentimes, especially women, but men do it too, right? We we're so worried about keeping the connections or making others happy that we shrink ourselves to make space for others or to invite them to stay, right? Stay with me, right? But we're not realizing that by holding on so tight, you can't catch anything new, and that you need to release those things so you can open your arms and accept the abundance that the divine would love to bring to you now that you're ready to create your own truth. And that shit is scary. I say to you, lean in. I say to you that you will discover new versions of yourself. I say to you that some of those people will return when they're ready, and some of them won't. And that's okay. Okay? So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let Spirit take a couple questions. So, if you've got an issue, drop a question, and I'm going to choose the questions that Spirit is drawn to. For those of you that seen me before, I'm hella accurate. Crazy accurate. I'm the GOAT, if I say so myself. Okay, so drop a question. I'll take a couple quickies if you are interested. I'll let y'all write something in if you like. Is my son going to be okay in the military? He's leaving in January. I got you. Spirit says yes, but we're going to look at something real quick, okay? I'm not doing it like that. You have to have a question because this isn't like the Q&A where we do in private group. This is just like more like a yes or no thing. I feel like your son had some disciplinary or like he had structural, like he needed discipline. And you might have felt that. But there's also parts of him that you feel are going to struggle in that discipline, like the very strict environment. I feel like you're going to get some kind of phone call from him. I feel like it's a complaint, but it's also a recognition. Yeah, it's like a complaint, but it's also a recognition that he sees like that he has to learn how to speak softly, walk with a big stick. Like, it's confrontational to him. He's gonna be more controlled, my love. And when you see him the first time after that, you're going to feel like you're not really sure if he's the same. He is, but he's learned to be more controlled with his tongue. Now, is his boot camp going to January? But I feel like one of his first deployments may be South Korea. Okay, I'm getting that strongly. I'm gonna take one from YouTube now. Okay, Brianna. Well, you've been mad all weekend because we got this square going on with Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, right? So all the fixed signs, we've been having like a lot of strong energy, okay? Can I get one for Brianna? There's a secret that's going to be coming to light. You're up next, Joe. There's a secret that's coming to light. Okay, the moon. It could even be yours, right? But it's like a subconscious thing of you feeling somebody having to tell you something. Okay. Somebody has a trauma, and this could be the new partner. Somebody has a trauma that they're disassociated from, but they have a weird behavior or they do some shit that you're like, that's a really fucking strange thing. Like, I just asked you X, Y, and Z. Why'd you get so defensive? It's fucking weird, right? But what you don't realize is that this person, they're not aware that they do this shit. And a lot of us that are, I refer to us as the lighthouses. You may be that person's reason, right? That the reason that you might serve in that person's life is to make them aware that they are disassociated from some level of trauma. It's not for you to point it out. It's for them to recognize, like, oh wow, like the way that she responded to my weird shit must mean it's really weird. Like, it's something like that, where by your reaction to this is how they become aware. They're not aware. Okay? But it's not your job. And all you can do is decide whether or not it's something that you can share space with. Okay, Brianna? All right. Jojo, let's see. That card goes with that deck. Let's use this one. Spirit, can you show me? What do you find works? It feels like you have to go to a different area, Joe. You got the Eight of Cups here. Father of Sticks. And it also feels like a different action that you have to take with the Seven of Sticks. It feels adjacent to what you may have been doing, but not exactly. Okay? If I'm talking to Joe Savage from the block, I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. Tattooing can also be, that's an artist by any name. But you may find that now you fit to go in a different direction, where it could be like digital art, or could be like digital or another form, right? So this could be like completely, I don't know why I'm getting this, but something like metal, right? Right? So this could be like, and I don't know what it's called, but like when they do work with art with metal, right? Um, and it feels very intricate. Okay. It could have something to do with a small hand tool as well, like soldering iron. Maybe this is like jewelry. I don't know, piercings. You may even be going to a trade school. Okay. You see it too? Okay. All right. Joe, if this is you from the hood, hit me up. I got you. All right. I'm gonna go. It is you. I had a feeling. Yeah. Um, hit me up because I have more to say that I don't want to say out here. Okay? Free of charge, babes. You always look me out. You know? Family. Family over everything. All right. I'm gonna go on to this side. No doubt, babes. Okay, so Shaquana. Spirit wants you to know that if this person is attached to some type of opportunity, like let's say you're getting vibes from them, like they might want something more, but you also have a business or job way, don't do it. Because I feel like there's some kind of opportunity that is attached to this person. And I feel like you don't want muddy waters. All right. You don't want one thing spilling over from here to over here and then it fucks up an opportunity, because I feel like there's something that is attached to this that you need more. And this could be a test. This is only a test to the American broadcasting system. This feels like a test to see if this person is like, they're like, so if she's with the shits, then but then that tells me that I can only fuck with her in this way. Okay, do you understand? So Spirit is telling you, okay, to wait and to follow through this situation with this person and the opportunity, and not to mix business with pleasure. Okay, I'm gonna take one from this side. Anybody have a question on TikTok? What's good, Eric? Get a sip of coffee. I want to go back and forth between the screens to give everybody a chance. I only do free questions like this a couple times of the year. Most of the time, you're going to see me on here doing the general energy, and most of the time, what I'm doing is I'm a remote viewer, so I do a lot of world politics, okay? But on my birthday, my channel anniversary, and Christmas, I like to come on and answer free questions for those people who maybe on the normal cannot afford my fees, because, baby, my accuracy ain't to be played with, okay? Let's see what's on this side over here. Croissant, how can I align myself? Align back into the energy of creation. Spirit, can you show me? Well, Croissant, you got the Knight of Swords out here. I feel like you spend a lot of time trying to respond. You listen to respond. And Spirit is saying that if you want to get back in the energy of creation, you're going to have to create some stillness within yourself and feel the things that you haven't been wanting to feel. And every time, and I do this in my own practice, I used to be very reactionary, right? Every time I have an experience with someone that is not pleasing, like let's say I go into a store and the cashier, she might be, having a bad day. She get nasty or say some shit that trigger me, right? Before I even respond, I try my very best to look at where that is in me. it has made me a better spiritist. And also it has made me be able to divide between, like, let's say, you guys know that I'm a practitioner, right? So I don't get into like spiritual warfare for some shit that has to do with how the fuck I feel, because I'm triggered, right? It lets me have the discernment to separate between the spiritual and the material. Thank you, my love, right? So I feel like uh, you're gonna have to find ways, Croissant, to look at the triggers and why, because I feel like there's two people presently. One could be a parent or a family member that like the interactions are they make you very anxious, spirit is saying. Okay. And then your anxiety is coming out as abrasiveness, but then that doesn't allow you to flourish something. Okay. And I don't know what it is you're trying to build, but what I can say to you is that it's almost like you use the aggression as a response to protect yourself, but it's actually not letting in what you need to change something, so that change something inward so you could change it outward, if that makes sense, right? So like if I suffer from PTSD, right? So if I have that trauma and then somebody says something to me, the old school me would have just reached over the counter and grabbed them by their larynx. Okay. All right. Shut it down for a minute. Right. Oh, you have a new attitude? Good. Right. But the one that needed a new attitude was me. Do you understand? I'm not saying that what that person did wasn't wrong. I'm just saying that my way of responding was also not in my highest good. Okay, so spirit wants you to look at that. And once you look at that and you realize that, you're going to realize that almost automatically you're back in the energy of creation, of expansion, of light. Okay, so that's what I have for you. And I'm going to keep jumping back and forth. Ducky, how do I find myself doing better with trauma? And I like questions like that. Okay, because oftentimes people are too caught up in, does so and so love me? Does so and so want me? Is so and so thinking about me? Listen, you're giving them all your energy. They don't even have to. They don't have to, because you're gonna do it for them. Okay? And it's so refreshing when people are trying to heal themselves. Okay? Because through your own healing, you will find that brings the right people to you. Okay. Six of baskets. This has something to do. I don't know if you have siblings, Ducky. I feel like you do. I feel like there could be a difference between the way you handled something and maybe a sibling did. Okay, you guys could be, you got 10. There we go. Look. Okay, I feel like what was happening, this could have been down south too. I feel like what was happening was you all could live in the same house and have very different ways of describing the experience. Okay? And courting, okay? This is the Lover's card. This is like, you may find that everybody's very divided. What did I just say? Since my sister died, me and my siblings don't talk. Okay. So that's, look, spirit is saying, okay, that the key is to exploring the trauma that lives there. You're kind of frozen at the crossroads or the intersection of that. Okay, you may still have anger towards them, and I am not saying that anger is not justified, but what I am saying is that for you to move on from that space, you're going to have to sit in the stillness as to why or how you too have given to this situation of stalemate, and how you can energetically release that without necessarily having the conversations that might be needed. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes we have to give ourselves the apology we're not going to get. Okay? Sometimes we have to write out a letter and you know, go to the divine mother or the moon and release that, cry it out, and burn that letter and free ourselves. Free your mind and the rest will follow, right? So spirit's talking about how we have to create the space, and energetically, whether we're having the conversation with them or not, energy doesn't die, babes. Okay, so this is like talking to the moon, you know, the Bruno Mars song. And when you're putting out what you feel, right? And you release it to the divine will meet you with the healing and may even put it in their heart to begin the work that they need to do. Okay? So that's what I have for you. Let me go on this side. Twanda, I have been having the weirdest dreams, the most recent about a coffin. Is there something that I need to be looking out for? So first off, before I even throw a card, Spirit is saying that the coffin is representing some type of cocoon, death and rebirth, a transformation, something. Yeah, it's a struggle to heal. Something that has to be recognized, that you are ready to release, Wanda. Okay? And your soul may be ready, but your mind may not be conscious of what that is. And you need to kind of have those two things meet in the middle, or bring that out. Okay? Yeah, because it's holding you back from a new beginning. Okay, because there's some kind of this could have something to do with the legal system, with a mother figure, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay. This could definitely have to do with Christianity and religion and the decolonization of your mind, body, and soul. Okay. The trauma that's related to the unlearning and the unknowing of the programming that no longer resonates with you. Okay. Finding your own form of justice. Okay, this also could be about like all my life I had a fight, or being the black sheep, right? And feeling the other, the othering, right? It feels like it's now your turn to release something or a version of yourself, and it has to do with resentment. Okay, that's what I have for you. Is there another question on here? No. Okay, so we're gonna go to Miss Lotus Wisdom. Will I be able to have my own business one day? I had horrible luck with jobs in the past 20 years. Okay, Spirit. Can you show me for Miss Lotus Wisdom? So Spirit says that right now you're not dedicated to that at this moment. Thank you for the For You page. Joe, thank you. Spirit saying you're not ready right now for that because right now you're too dedicated to your mother to be able to do that. But you could try to start small online presences or businesses that would build some reoccurring income or residual income. Okay. And I don't know what your job was or what your skill set is, but Spirit is saying that you should try to find like online. Okay, there's a site called Fiverr, and like let's say I don't know what you did, but let's say you were doing something on computers, or you were doing, let's say, like data entry, whatever, right? There's smaller companies that would pay you to do some of that work from your home, maybe in only a small, like 1 gig, but you do more than 1 gig, you'll end up supplementing some, not all of your income. Okay. But you should be laying the groundwork because I feel like after, and God forbid, but after your mom transition, you will be looking more to birthing the life that you have wanted to build, in some way has been in arrested development because you have been caring for your mom. Okay, that's what I have for you. What's good, unicorn? Okay, so I'm kind of taking random little questions, not whole big ones, but if you write something, I will definitely look at your question. Let me see if there's another one here. Brianna, thank you. I'm a pedicurist. We need deep and foot massage. You need to book a one-on-one. Happy birthday. Absolutely do, Brianna. Okay. Now, let's look at Mel. I'm feeling like something or someone is draining me. I'm not sleeping well. How can I find my balance and energy? Okay, somebody is not draining you, honey. It is the energy and the spiritual war that we are. Oh, thank you, Eve. It was good to have you here with us. Okay. I feel like what's happening is that you are, and we've talked about this, a tuning fork. Okay, all of us are. If you're in here with me, you are a tuning fork. Okay, we are the empathetic people. Okay, we're empaths. Okay, so you're gonna feel sensations at a higher intensity, right? So, and then we also have the Schumann resonance. If you guys are not familiar with the Schumann resonance, that's what you should do. What's good, babalao, ifa tonde? Okay. Hey, Baba. I would just say this. The Schumann resonance is the frequency of the earth, and the divine mother right now, her frequency is speaking, screaming, shrieking in horror to all of the things that are happening to the collective. Okay, she's making all the empaths wake up. I've been doing it for over a year, making us wake up, feel that anxiety. Yes, it's also a reminder for us to release it, because I want you to think of yourself as somehow like a filter for the collective, for yourself, but also the collective. Okay. And if you remember, if you were here in the beginning of this live, and I said that we are sometimes the vibration or the only version of like divine energy that people might see that day, the interaction that you're having with them. Okay. So if you are not purging, actively purging that which you are picking up, like this tuning fork, okay, look, it emits a frequency, but it also reads a frequency, right? So if you are not recognizing, oh, I feel anxious because everything that's happening to the collective, and I feel this, and this is deregulating my nervous system. It is deregulating my ability to be at peace. And I need to find ways that puts me in balance. Then also the frequency that you omit, right? There's emitting, omitting, right? So by you trying to not feel that sensation, you actually project out that more. Okay? Sometimes we want to say, oh, is somebody working me? Let me tell you something. A lot of the time, I wipe my ass with other people's work. Okay? Because only I can give them the power over me energetically. Only I can give them permission to change that which is between me and the divine, or my Ori, right? I have to permit that in. I have to give them power over what I am. Okay? So they could have 12 jars, they could be doing whatever they doing. But if me and my spirit team and my divine higher self say no, that shit ain't going. Period. Right? The answer will always lie within me. If anything, the fact that I feel that, or even if somebody was doing something, is just notifying me to be more attentive to the frequency that I'm feeling and how to recorrect myself, because I will not give somebody power over me outside of me. Okay. So I want to start with that. Right. So how can you regulate yourself? Okay. How can you recognize what part, like you could say, okay, well, I need a spiritual bath because, the outside world is basically throwing up on me, and I want to replenish and refresh myself, my aura, my Ori, my crown, to better transmute that energy. And if we start looking at it like that, we don't give so much power away to that which is outside of ourselves. And I'll just say that. Okay. Let me see. Is there one over here? Okay. Thank you, Eve. So that was okay, Alicia. My youngest is having a very hard time with school. Do I need to find an alternative schooling option for her, or is there an underlying issue she's not expressing to me that I can help her overcome? I don't know how old she is. Is she like 13? Is this high school? It feels social. The othering, the othering, the othering. Okay. So let me okay. I don't know if you recently moved. Okay? But or I don't know if she recently moved, if you recently moved. But I want to say this. It feels like one environment, maybe it was just the school thing, like maybe she changed school, like went from elementary to middle school, whatever, right? But the environment is different. I feel like she's an empath as well. I feel like what she was comfortable in was a role that it's the only role she's ever known. Okay. Right. So this is like, do what the teacher says. I have my group of friends. I do this level of schoolwork, X, Y, and Z. It feels like the dilemma comes in with a new routine. These could be new responsibilities, a new circle, a teacher. I also feel like the women in your family may start developing early. Maybe not necessarily showing development, but that doesn't mean that inside chemically some of the changes are already happening. She may have also had an experience. It feels like a girl's bathroom. It feels like a mean girl experience. Okay? It's a mean girl experience. Okay? I don't know if she goes to a school that's well integrated, or maybe it has, more of a certain complexion of people or whatever, right? But there's an old school saying, okay, my piss is stronger than yours. Okay? I feel like what she sees as a negative thing right now will be the stronger voice. Okay? Right? Okay, so also let me just say this, no shade, right? Because shit, I went through this too, right? Um, as our bodies change, right? I always had like a lump under my arm, and I had to have surgery when I was younger, right? But that used to like clog up my armpit. When I had changes in my body, I noticed like, oh my god, like my sweat is so strong, right? So I'm gonna use this as an example. Let's say she's in the bathroom, but nobody knows that she's in the bathroom. Okay, and they say, "Oh, well, did you notice that? She sweats like a boy. She smells like a boy, right? Meanwhile, could be that she just got her period, right? You know what I'm saying? Like just the changes that girls go through, right? And the uncomfortableness that we feel in our body, chemically, alchemically, emotionally, physically, mentally, like that shit is all encompassing. And she probably got a good 5 years at least of that shit. Then you have school changes, you have your classmates and their emotional changes. I feel like it's a combination of all of that shit. She might could use a day of like, because I feel like her hair is cute and all that. I feel like she might be a little uncomfortable with like certain conversations, right? Maybe she needs a day to just go like to Ulta, you know, and maybe she needs to feel a little like bougie, like, you know, like I'm changing and I want to be an active participant in shaping how that change goes. Try that. I feel like it's affecting self-confidence, honestly. Okay? That's what I have for you. Okay, I'm going to take unicorn, okay? And then I'll come back to this side. What's good, Afro Spirit? Spirit, can you show me? You're welcome. Sometimes it's different types of growing pains, and we think like it's something big. It to them it is big. Life is changing. They don't even know how it's changing. They just know they feel different, right? Spirit saying that you should be working on your resume, unicorn. You should be preparing to look for something else, but that right now is not the time because of all the changes outside. Okay, I feel like you should be, if there's a short course that you could take, or there's something that you, because there's a lot of shit online that's free now, right? I feel like they want you to sharpen it up, sharpen it up. I don't know if you've been at this job for a long time. It could be like 8 years or more, but Spirit is saying that there's some changes I've been going through because I want to be with you, right? There's some changes that have gone down on in maybe the field or the field you want to be in, right? And I feel like there's, although you may be unhappy with where you are, or you may feel like it's not fulfilling you, before you make just a drastic shift, Spirit wants you to shore up the resume, shore up any classes that you might be deficient in. I feel like right after you do that, and this feels like more towards the end of the year, it's 9 of Cups. Okay, I feel like if you do it right now, you will be in a 10 of Swords situation. Okay, because there's not enough vacancies in the field with with the with the qualifications now. Okay, or this could be like a resume that looks like it's from the 90s or whatever, right? Like, it also could be the way you represent yourself or the online presence. Okay, so it's something about sharpening that up. Okay, my love. All right. And so I'm going to say this. Yeah, it's a need to update it. Yep. Pluto in retrograde. Brianna asked real quick. I have Aquarius and Pluto. Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius. What does it mean for me? We all have Aquarius and Pluto right now. Okay. That's not where your normal Aquarius would be, because you couldn't have lived that long. Okay. That's where it is right now in your present chart. But I will say that Pluto retrograde for everyone is going to take a little pressure off of that rough upheaval that we've all been feeling. And that soon, it gives us a little bit more time to be introspective with what we need to change and what we want to create, what we want to be authentic in, how we want to show up for our communities. It's giving us a little more time to look at that, because when Pluto's in forward motion, especially facing off with Mars and Leo, like it was last week, still kind of is. It's aggressive as fuck, right? It could feel very much like being forced into something. Okay, and I feel like what's happening now by the retrograde coming into sight for us, that it just began like 2 or 3 days ago, we're going to notice that we have more room to think about how we can change situations for the positive. Also look for more protests, but the protests may change, right? Because it's a shifting of how we have to, you gotta fight for your right to party, right? It's like we're readjusting. And it's also about being revolutionary, like thinking outside of the box on how to find solution oriented methods. Okay, without losing our authenticity and being true to our new selves. Okay, that's what the Pluto retro, it's like not going back on the new version of yourself, but finding new ways to do it. Okay, and allowing people the space for that. All right. So that's what I have for you, my love. And that is what I have for all of you. I really love to come on my birthday and assist y'all. It's my way of giving back to you guys. For most of you guys have been with me for years. And it's my way of saying thank you to you for your support. Okay? Thank you so much, Unicorn. And I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I have the best job in the fucking world. I do. Even on the days that it's hard, even on the days that I'm tired, I have the best job in the world. Okay? So I just want to say thank you. And I love each and every one of you. Have a blessed day. Bye, guys. Bye, my loves.